guys, this is Bill from Spencer1984.com with the final update to the Last of Us Chevy S-10 pickup. So at this point I've got all the sub-assemblies finished, and now it's just time to bring it all together. So starting out, take a look at the chassis, which is pretty much as you saw in the last video, other than I've cut off this back panel right here. See, it did have this little tab, which I thought was going to be a really helpful way of holding the cab in place, but it turned out it actually was pushing the interior forward, so no good. I also have this cross member here, which brings up the box, and see a little bit more of that later on. For the cab, got all the paint done. I got the Canuck 3D model parts, grille and headlights in, and those look pretty good. It's not a perfect fit, but it's darn close. And overall, I like the way that they look. I like the clear headlights. The layering on the grille looks pretty good. Everything is pretty fine. The only problem I had is got a little bit of a gap, but that's really on me. I should have done a little bit more modification early on to make sure that that had a nice tight fit. I've got the interior in. You can see that custom dashboard. That fits in there pretty well. And you can also see that with the black paint, most of the details disappear, so you just get the shapes. So now putting this together, since it's the Blazer cab and the front of the chassis, that part lines right up. I just need to pop the back of the cab over the back of the floor. Drop that down a little bit. And give it a little squeeze. You can see the screw holes line up just like they're supposed to. So now if I pull those back out, line that up in the hole, screwdriver, and what I always do so I don't get anything cross-threaded is I back off just a little bit until I hear that. Now I can screw it in, and it should be following the threads that were cut originally. That one's pretty good. Get the second one here. And do the same thing, get that lined up. Get the screwdriver on it and back off until I hear, and go ahead and drive this one in. And once they're seated, just go back, give each of them a little bit of a torque, make sure that they're really in all the way. Not quite down all the way, but that's pretty close. It's good enough for right now. Get the side view mirrors plugged in. And these have a pretty good friction fit. I will put a drop of glue on later, but for right now. And finally the box. So I've got these two little standoffs at the back here. And the rear bumper is off of Maisto diecast Ford F-150. It's pretty close to what we saw in the show. Has about the right size and shape. I do have one annoying thing here. I managed to put a dent in the side of the box. And I cleaned it up a little bit, but I figure this is a post-apocalyptic 20-year-old pickup, so it's not critical. I just line it up with the standoffs on the frame and drop that into place. And again, I'll put some glue on it when I finalize it, but for right now, there we have the Last of Us Chevy S-10 Crew Cab. And overall, pretty happy with the results. There's a few things that I would definitely do differently next time. The biggest of which is I would give myself a little more time than I did on this so that I could go back and tweak some fit, like the front bumper. It really should have rear fender flares, but I couldn't figure out a clever way of doing that in the time I allotted myself. Fortunately, if I want to, I can always go back and add those later. And beyond that, other than gluing down these last couple of pieces that I showed off, I will go through and give a little bit of weathering. Quit popping that up. Do a little bit of weathering to the rockers, maybe a little on the tailgate, something to show a little bit extra age, but nothing too crazy. But overall, I'm calling this a wrap. So I will be starting a new project next week, one a little less bodywork intensive. You can check back then, and thanks for watching.